All right, welcome back, everybody. And as I stated before the commercial break, we have with us Miss Kaitlyn Joshua. Miss Joshua, who is a part of the Power Coalition, is here today to talk about all of the services that they're providing on Election Day. And I'm going to tell you, I pressed my way to be here today because election is so important to me.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was young, before I could even really talk well, my grandmother made sure that we were always out canvassing and making sure that we were making people informed about voting. And at our the Black Caucus Roadshow, you know, Vanessa LaFleur did such a great job in terms of, to me, activating the crowd about the importance of voting. And it's more important to me today than it was back when I was doing it for my grandmother. Democracy, in my opinion, really is at stake.
Absolutely.
And the other thing that I think we take for granted is the right to vote.
Yeah.
If it wasn't so important, you wouldn't have so many people trying to actually pull it away, steal it away, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
In so many different fashions, in so many different ways. And so I just want to say to everybody in the audience, please take advantage of all the information that you're going to receive in the next couple of minutes. If you have questions, feel free to call them. But you guys have a lot of things going on. So tell us what's going on.
Yeah,
what are you doing on Election Day?
We're super excited. So we are going to be sun up to sundown, y'all, 6 a.m. until 8 p.m. canvassing. And so that entails just coming to the McKinley Alumni Center, which is serving as our hub for the city. We're going to give folks different zip codes to walk and get our people out to vote. And so essentially you'll just get a list number, be able to plug that into the phone, see what street you have, and then you and your partner can easily just walk door to door and do what's called lit drops. And that's just putting literature on the door to remind people it's time to get out and vote. You have all day to do it. In addition to that, we're going to be texting, and so you'll still be getting a lot of text messages from the Power Coalition and from our volunteers, as well as phone banking from our hub. What's cool about the phone banking piece, though, we have what's called election protection, where we work with the Legal Defense Fund, NAACP, where folks can kind of call in 1-866-OUR-VOTE, and they can tell us in real time, like if they're having a good experience at the polls, if there's some issues at the polls, and they need someone to look into it. And so we'll have a call center.
So repeat that again.
Yeah.
If they have a problem.
If you have a problem, do not leave the polls. And so again, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. polls are open on Election Day on November 8th. A lot of times, as staff members and volunteers at the Power Coalition, we get a lot of phone calls with folks who have trouble, may have, had someone beat on their voting booth and say, hey, it's time to get out, or, administer some type of 3-minute or 5-minute rule. And so we tell folks, do not leave, do not give in to that fear tactic, and make sure that you call 1-866-OUR-VOTE, let Legal Defense know. SOS will look into it. Secretary of State's website will be involved and able to kind of pick apart the situation and make sure that you do have the right to vote that day. So we'll be running that call center as well, in addition to just our typical phone banking, reminding our communities to get out and vote. Another thing I want to mention is ride to polls. Like a lot of times, folks think, it's 2022, everybody has a ride. That's not true. And so transit is still very much an issue for folks that need to get to the polls. So we don't want you to give up. We don't want you to just say, hey, I don't have a ride, so I'm not going to go. We not only have volunteers that are going to be taking people to the polls, but we have what's called Uber codes, where we can literally send you a code that goes into the Uber app, and for free, you can get a ride to the poll and back home.
Wow.
And so we want to make sure folks can take advantage of that as well.
That is great. So how do you use that? And if a person needs to get a ride, what would they need to do? Is this only electronically? Can they do it? Can they call in somewhere? Or how would that work?
Yeah, they can call our phone number on our website, powercoalition.org. But the easiest thing also is to go to powercoalition.org, type in our form. We have a Get Out the Vote section. And in that Get Out the Vote section, you can choose if you need a ride to the polls, and then someone will communicate with you from our staff and volunteers and set that up for you.
And so let me ask you this, does that need to be set up in advance, or can they call that day?
They can call that day.
Okay.
Of course, we would love to have advance just so we can get you scheduled right now, but we know things happen. Sometimes folks aren't able to give us advance notice, and that's fine. Call us in real time, we'll get you a ride.
So now this station, it covers multiple parishes. It's not just East Baton Rouge. It actually also covers several other parishes. So tell me, those people who are not living in East Baton Rouge Parish, can they also use the same information and also get a ride?
Absolutely. So particularly in Shreveport, Bossier area, Lake Charles, Lafayette, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, those are our main areas that we work in. Monroe area. And so if you're in any of those surrounding areas, and in particularly in 64 parishes, we will work with you to try and get you a ride. That's not a problem.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. And then what else do you guys have going on?
Yes, so did you know, huh?
Yes.
And so essentially we are kind of activating our local churches to get
Yes.
involved, and so calling upon all of our social justice groups to have souls to the polls. Make sure you're utilizing your platform this Sunday to not only tell people to get out and vote, but mobilize them to our call center,
Yes.
to our canvassing center. Send your social justice groups, church members, faith leaders. Happy to have everyone, and they can join us on Election Day on November 8th, and we will find you some zip code to go.
Well, I really appreciate all the work that you guys have been doing. I also noticed that you guys had the Greek Day to the
Yeah.
polls. And,
Yeah.
you know, before I had the accident, I was planning to have District 15 join me in going and vote. You know, I normally do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, Lord have mercy, I can't believe this.
No,
But I
goodness.
couldn't do it. But, you know, I just love the different things that you guys have done to activate people, to encourage people, to remind them their right, their responsibility to go vote. And I'm telling you, I see this more of an issue, like I said today, than before.
Absolutely.
And if you're not going to vote for yourself, make sure you vote for your children.
Absolutely.
Because their future is in jeopardy. It's hanging in the wing. Gene, I see you over there like you're about to bust. What you want to say? I can just tell. I can tell.
I don't have anything. I was just going to think to make sure that you remind them that y'all have 2 virtual training events coming up as well for phone banking, texting, canvassing, etc.
Absolutely. So we do have not just election protection trainings, which you can look at our website, social media, Power Coalition for Equity and Justice. But we also have and thank you for bringing that up, our trainings. We have so much going on. But we have our trainings for anybody that wants to volunteer. We can teach you
So,
now.
wait a minute.
Online.
You're providing training up to
Oh yeah,
election?
literally every day until Election Day. We're holding a virtual training via Zoom. You can look at our
Okay.
website to see when it is and sign up for it. You sign up for our volunteer form, and then immediately we can teach you how to use the minivan app so you can walk the doors, or how to use the app
That's
to be able to
awesome.
do phone banking.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I remember my cousin calling one year. She's like, I want to help. I want to volunteer. I
Yeah.
want to do something. So I'm gonna call her and say, look, if you want to do something this year,
Absolutely.
I know where you can call it and actually get the volunteer information so that you can get trained and be ready to help. Well, what else would you like to share with us?
The last thing I'm going to share is, and which I think is like the most important, is the sample ballots, right? Like a lot of times I have so many texts on my phone, family members and friends are like, I don't know who to vote for or what to vote for or what issues or amendments, how to unpack them.
Yes.
And so we've unpacked them for you on our website. Again,
Oh,
powercoalition.org. We literally have as many ballots in the various parishes as possible on the website. So don't wait till you get in the voting booth. We do want you to be prepared and feel confident about your vote. So make sure that you download your sample ballot from our website before you go vote.
And if someone wants to call you guys, what's the best number they can call?
Yes, they can call 225-454-8321.
Okay, say that one more
Again,
time.
225-454-8321, and that will ring my phone, and we can get you set up with whatever volunteer opportunity you want to take advantage of. Got some questions about the ballot, whatever you need, we're here for that.
All right, dear. Well, you have been a busy lippy, and you guys have been extremely, well organized, but have been extremely busy. And we just want to say thank you for all of your work. And I want to just encourage everyone who have heard this information, and if you have any questions, to call. But more importantly, please go out and exercise your right and responsibility. Please vote. Election polls are open.
6 a.m. until 8 p.m. on Election Day.
So that's Tuesday,
November 8th.
5 days away. Actually, this day is gone, so we can say 4. All right. Well, any closing comments?
No, and anything you need, powercoalition.org. We're happy to help you. Don't hesitate to reach out. And I look forward to having some folks volunteer on Election Day.
Awesome. Okay, Eugene, take us on out. But before you take us out, tell us about Remy.
My daughter is great.
And Natasha is doing wonderful as well.
Good.
I saw Natasha on the picture and I was like, she don't even look like she had a baby.
See, Natasha, she shared a story the other day. She said, you cannot talk about those type of things because you don't want to enforce this like snapback culture on women after they have babies. And so she's trying to tell people that pregnancy is something that is going to look different and feel different for everyone. So sometimes y'all just got to stop with the comments. Not saying that she doesn't do that,
No, she don't.
I just want to make sure that people understand there are certain ways that you were to approach women who are pregnant or who have just had a baby. But yeah, she's great. Remy's great. They're at home chilling. Remy is a super what's the best way to describe it? She's a super advanced child. To say she makes one month tomorrow, but she came out the womb holding her neck up already, and I'm like, please stop, because I'll put her on my chest and she'll just start looking around all the way. And it's scary, so I have to watch her all the time. But she can roll all the way over already on her own.
Wow.
She can move herself up on her arms already.
That's really
everything.
nice.
And so I'm like
1 month. I thought she was 6 weeks, but she
1 month tomorrow.
Wow.
So I'm always like just holding her like her stomach or something like that, so she will stay in place. Or now the thing is, so when we were going through pregnancy, every time they did an ultrasound, it would take super long because Remy would always have her hands in her face.
Yeah.
And so the doctor's like, we can't get the ultrasound takes her like, we can't get what we need if her hands are continually in her face. And ever since she's come out, all she does is sit there like this.
Oh my
or she'll have both
goodness.
hands up on the side of her face.
Yeah.
And so when I swaddle her now, I've tried to make sure I put her arms and everything to her side. Like, I try to give her some freedom. I don't want my baby to just be locked down.
Yeah.
But I try to give her some freedom, but she moves too much. She accidentally scratched herself one day because she just continues moving her hands, and so she's great. She's super amazing. I'll share some pictures with you when we finish. But yeah, they're both great.
Can we now share them on social media? We still can.
Nah, not yet.
Oh.
Not yet. Soon.
Celebrities.
Look, I respected it, and I was like, oh my God, I can't even show a
Soon.
picture.
But yeah, so I mean, life is great. I just went back to on campus this week. I was teaching from home basically the entire month of October. So I just went back on campus on Monday. And so yeah, I mean, basically we got 3.5 weeks left in the semester. So I'll then have that nice little winter break to be at home. So at least for basically the full first 3 months, I got to be at home almost the entire time. And Natasha doesn't really have any responsibilities until February.
Cool. Good for her.
That's great. That's great. Well, we just want to say hello and a shout out to them, and I can't wait till she can come into the radio station so everybody can see her, right? Yeah. I just feel like she's just a part of my entire family, right? She's just our new baby. She's our new baby. But all right, you want to take us on out with the announcements?
Well, so I only have 2 announcements, of course, besides Election Day. Everybody go vote on Tuesday. But there is going to be a benefit event for the granddaughter of Miss Denise Marcel.
Okay.
That's going to be on Friday, November 18th. There's $30 for tickets to reserve tables. If you need more information, please contact 225-906-8582 or 225-933-4217. There's going to be a lot of live performances by a lot of people that y'all love, like the Michael Foster Project, Kenny Neal, the Mellow Band, Tyree Neal, a whole bunch of people.
Okay.
There's going to be motivational speakers. There's going to be comedians. So it's going to be a really big event, and just want to make sure that people show up and show out so that Diane can ultimately get the care that she deserves. Because we also understand how the American health system doesn't actually help people that much, especially as it pertains to insurance and stuff. But I'm going on a tangent. And the other announcement is we do have on this Saturday from 10 to 1, Men and Women of Empowerment are putting on a resource event at 9282 Scotland Avenue. And they're going to be giving out food, clothing, and essentials. So that's from 10 to 1 this Saturday at Scotland Avenue, 9282.
Okay. Okay, awesome. I know that we have the Elvin Howard fundraising event. I know it's going to be in Baker this year regarding pancreatic cancer. And this happens to be Pancreatic Cancer Month. Also is Epilepsy Month, and also National Alzheimer's Disease Month. And so we're going to try to have someone on every week to talk about these different issues, because certainly they affect all of our families in some way, fashion, some way or some form. Many of our families are having some dealings with some of these issues, and so we want to make sure that we are able to provide you with some help and support. And so with that said, Eugene, I did not even try to attempt to say it. I have to have it written down, and every time I would get here, I would never have it written down where I could actually give you a statement. But I do want to say and give a shout out before we end the show to Maida McDonald, who faithfully came for weeks, and then when I could not be here, Maida and Dr. Conrad were both here, and they did a wonderful job in ensuring that the show continued each week. Now, I have one last thing, and I didn't get a chance to look at it before we started, but I started a new addition to the Inside Rouge radio show. So my question of the day was or is, did you eat or take some of your kids' Halloween candy? And so I'm like, none of you guys could probably attest to that yet, but I'm gonna just say I did.
My daughter just turned 4, and she's already just turned 4.
Wow.
And I probably ate half of it.
Look, as soon as I saw Jeremiah had a book set.
Mm.
I was like, what you doing with all this candy? Because he actually had gotten some candy. Because, I had my
Trunk
or treat.
Yeah.
But I was like, I know he didn't get that much candy because he had a book set of candy.
Yeah.
I was like, where did you get all this candy from? He said, the parade. I said, mm-mm. So I took half of that already. Half of that is already hidden. Mm-hmm. And then I began to eat some of the other, He had bubble gum in there, which is one of my favorites. So, and what's the candy? Oh my God. But anyway, I just started taking it and putting it in my purse. So I like when I'm in meetings or if I do something or go somewhere, I have candy already in my purse.
I think it's smart.
Oh.
You're doing them a favor.
And we actually still have one other announcement. The Gift of Christmas giveaway.
Yes.
So registration opened up on 2 days ago on November 1st.
Yes.
And there's going to be until November 18th. Now, that deadline is November 18th, but y'all know Senator Barrow is often known to move that back a little bit. But I would implore you to get in before November 18th to register. You can email christmas.barrow.d15@gmail.com. You can drop off or mail your registration at 4811 Hardin Boulevard, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 70811. Or you can look at the link for the Wix website that'll be on her Facebook and her social media. I can give it to you, but it's going to be a lot. It's going to be long. So just look at the flyer. The Gift for Christmas giveaway. Senator Barrow does it every year. So make sure y'all come out making another successful event.
15 years. This
15
is
years.
our 15th year.
I love it.
And so with that said, as you can see, we are actually advertising this a lot earlier. Mm-hmm. So that means that we are cutting the deadline off on the 18th. We definitely are strongly encouraging people to get that in, so we are not at the last minute trying to buy gifts and wrap them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, Eugene, as you always say,
don't hurt your brother, help your brother. When you help your sister, you help yourselves, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
For joining us today
Kaitlyn,
for
thank you so very much.
another
So we're
edition
still live.
of
If you want to say anything right quick to either one of these platforms, that's Facebook, this is Instagram.
Okay, cool deal. Again, thank you for having me. It's great to see you, Eugene. Again, just wanted to stress, I looked at those early voting numbers, y'all. We can get them up. Pretty impressive. It was up from 4 years ago, but definitely want to do more on election day and really turn out for our communities. School boards on the ballot, PSCs on the ballot. We've got 7 amendments, various senator races, Congress races,
Judges.
and so all of those are important. So we want to make sure we vote down the ballot. If you need help, again, powercoalition.org. We're here to help you out, and just don't hesitate to reach out.
All right, guys. So you just heard it from Ms. Joshua, and we do want to thank you so very much, and we want to thank the Power Coalition for their great work and making sure that our people are informed and educated, and if they need help and support, you can get it from them. So we do implore you, please, I am literally begging you, please go vote. Make sure that your voice is heard, because your voice is your vote. And I can tell you that it is in jeopardy as I continue to hear the rhetoric about what's happening here in our state, but more importantly across the nation. I am concerned about the state of where we are, and if we don't continue to show up and make sure that our voice is heard and vote for the candidates of our choice, we can find ourselves in a place where we do not have the right to vote. That is certainly one of the things that has not been solidified in law. The John Lewis voting right is something that has not been solidified. That is not done, guys. So it is still an issue. It's still a concern. But again, we have the right, we have the power, we have the responsibility to do so. And more importantly, if it's not for us, make sure you do it for your children. So their stability going forward is stable. Because right now, I can tell you, if we continue down this track and don't make sure that we make sure that certain things are in place, there are some things that can definitely be completely different for our kids and our kids' kids. All right, guys, we are finished for today. I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week. Bye.